I was so inspired by playing her, honestly, and it really has been the greatest privilege of my creative life so far.
Europe was at war, and I felt useless.
I hear you're the woman to see about a job.
I am.
We don't hire older models.
I'm not a model anymore.
I'd rather take a picture than be one.
There was so much of Lee. She lived so many lives, and actually the greatest challenge, honestly, was deciding what not to reveal or show in terms of the particular areas or decades of her life that came before or after, but to really distill it down and focus on this decade of her life when, as a flawed middle-aged woman, she did everything she could to fight for the right to go to the front line and bear witness and be that visual voice for the victims of conflict, and that resilience that she had, you know, redefining femininity to mean power and courage and determination and compassion.
There's no women allowed in the press briefing.
You gotta be kidding me.
We don't send women to combat.
Well, that's a problem, because I'm here. Why should the men get to decide?
And playing her meant really fucking being her and really doing it. You know, I mean, I practically lived in that archive for the best part of 7 years. And you know, there were times when I would be sitting at her kitchen table in her house with all of her negatives everywhere, all over the place, and her camera kit and Davy Sherman's camera kit, which is also there in the archive. And that was Lee. She did not fit into she was not fitting into anyone's box. She was her own woman, and who she was and how she lived her life and how free she was with her affection and how comfortable she was in her own skin. Those things for her were incredibly hard won, which, guess what, is the case for most of us, and is certainly the case for most women. So I admired that enormously about her, and she was not unkind. She wasn't mean. She was determined and brave. She wasn't fearless, and actually she wrote about that a lot. There's a wonderful piece she writes. She writes about listening to the gunfire, curled up on her freezing cold camp mattress. You know, she may as well have been lying on the hard stone ground. And feeling utterly terrified, you know, and she didn't pretend, you know, she was vulnerable, and she wasn't stoic to the point of not letting the cracks show.
I knew I couldn't. There are different kinds of wounds. Not just the ones you can see.